Here I have a first year teacher with me that I've been working with in the classroom. Our last lesson planning session actually centered around data pulling for our RTI segment that we have in our daily schedule. This time around, we're going to look at a lesson plan that I actually observed her complete in the classroom. And let's just measure some pros and cons about this lesson plan and how to make it more efficient going forward. So first things first, we do have our lesson plan. She did take the time to teach a lesson surrounding summarizing fictional text. The targeted audience for this lesson was her middle school group, specifically eighth graders. We do have more of a one room schoolhouse, so we have multi grade levels in one setting. So she does have to do the workshop model where she has to employ different lessons for different groups in segmented time periods. So basically, the focus was ELA objective 8.6D. The student is expected to paraphrase and summarize text in ways that maintain meaning and logical order. So for your warm up activity, you did have them read a short story, The Scholarship Jacket. Now, I do want to say, as feedback for this warm up activity, it was a bit long. The text was a little bit extensive for the introduction of this standard. We do want to make sure that it is shortened so when they're beginning to retain information, they're not inundated with a whole lot of information at once. So maybe we could have used a children's story to start them out with the first steps of summarizing. Your objective was clearly stated for the children. They could clearly see it, and it did align. All right. So after the summarizing the text, the first thing you did as a teacher was your modeling, and I was very impressed. Your I do consisted of you actually defining the terms, paraphrasing, summarizing, and demonstrating the difference between those terminologies. You actually read a story and you showed the difference between paraphrasing and summarizing by actually creating each after you read the text to the students. That was exemplary. That is exactly how you want to show them what they're supposed to do first.
Thank you.
Okay. The next step was incorporating the students. When it was their time to take over for their independent practice, we want to make sure that they have adequate time to apply the skill that they just learned, but we don't want to make sure that they have extended time. We want to make sure that we don't that we actually utilize the entire class period towards all levels of learning. So for this activity, they were supposed to actually pick their own story, which increases, giving them autonomy does increase retention so that they can apply the skill. So they were to pick their own story, and then they were supposed to find key points of the story and include it in their own story, summary. Now, that was a great way to apply the skill. So I did see engagement on that. Everybody was on target. Everybody was able to basically repeat what they had learned. The last segment of this was the independent practice, the you do. Now, they did have to pick another story, and then we also wanted to use this as the exit ticket. Did the exit ticket match what you taught? Did this small, short assessment actually line up with the skill that you taught and actually measure it adequately? Now, only thing that I noticed that we didn't get a whole complete participation on the exit ticket. We want to make sure that we allow for adequate time for the modeling and the independent practice to still have time to assess what you taught in the same time bracket, the same class period. Because tomorrow, as we both know with our kids, retention may be less than what it is in that moment. But did the exit ticket actually align? Yes, it did. I just didn't get the extreme participation with the exit ticket that I think would have helped solidify the mastery.
Okay.
But your choice of exit ticket was great. It aligned with the state testing standards. It gave them the aesthetic of how a test question is presented. So that's wonderful. How do you feel about your delivery of the information? What is something that you feel like you could have done better? Something that you think you executed properly? Just give me a little feedback.
Um, I think I could have broke it down a little bit better. as far as with the standards, maybe do a little one-on-one with the students instead of the overall class or
The
instead of
whole
the
group.
whole group.
So instead of whole group instruction, you think you should have pushed out the standard more on an individual
Yes.
basis, given the type of population
Yes.
we have. Okay, that makes sense. Overall, the lesson for today, actually, or the lesson that you did that we're analyzing today, went well. It made sense and it aligned, which is what we're looking for. And the biggest thing is when we get ready to assess what we teach, are we measuring what we actually taught? Are we getting the feedback from what we actually taught? And from what I can see, it did line up. So this went great. And until the next lesson planning session, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.